right, it is our top story tonight. Union busters cracking the bedrock of labor union movement in Michigan. Even though fiery protests rocked the state capitol all day today, they were out there. Its House of Representatives has passed 2 right-to-work bills, making it possible for workers to volunteer to belong to a union and pay dues. Michigan Governor Rick Snyder could sign the bills into law any minute now. So is this the end for unions? Joining me now is Vinny Vernuccio, Director of Labor Policy at Mackinac Center, who has been at the protest site all day. We also have Mark Brenner, Director of Labor Notes. Welcome to both of you. Vinny, what do you make of what went on today?
Hey, Melissa, thanks for having me on. It is absolutely historic. You're talking about the state with the 5th highest percentage of union members in the country, the birthplace of the UAW, and for what has been long considered a union stronghold, giving workers the freedom to choose whether or not to pay a union and still keep their jobs. This will have national ramifications, and this is a very historic day, both for Michigan and for the country.
Mark, is there any positive way to spin this for the labor side?
Oh, of course not. This is a pure union-busting move by a lame duck legislature. It is absolutely the puppets marching to the beat of the puppeteers, the Koch brothers, Dick DeVos from Amway, and other billionaires who want to basically weaken working-class institutions like unions. This is what this is, clear and simple.
So, Mark, did they succeed? I mean, is there any way to battle back?
Well, of course, we always have the ability to organize on the job, and that's what we're going to keep doing. But, I love hearing Vinny talk about freedom, except, of course, he's not talking about freedom of association, which is getting violated every half hour in this country when somebody's getting fired for organizing a union. I don't see Mackinac fighting on that. Basically, they're pushing a corporate agenda, and this is just one piece of it. We're seeing it in states like Indiana, in Wisconsin, and I think they're going to try to spread it, but we're going to keep fighting.
Vinny, I mean, it is one piece, but it's a huge piece. This is Michigan, where 17.5% of the workforce is unionized. If workers aren't forced to pay dues, a lot of them, I mean, whether they believe in unions or not, are not going to do it because they just simply can't afford it. So, this is a big financial blow to unions, no matter how you slice it.
Actually, just going back to the previous point, this is actually a very bright spot for unions around the country and here in Michigan. It means that now unions will be held accountable and they'll have to prove their worth. They'll have to represent their workers better. They'll have to put workers' interests in front of the special interest. And if those unions are doing a good job and they're putting workers first, then the workers will pay them. It's like every other nonprofit or trade association or group in the country. The NRA, for instance, they represent all gun owners and Second Amendment believers, but not everyone has to pay the NRA.
Okay.
Yet the NRA is still in existence because they do a good job and
Mark,
people pay them.
what about that? I mean, does this mean that unions have to fight for their workers and prove their worth?
I think unions are fighting for their workers every day. I think that there's plenty more that we could be doing. I certainly have been a vocal critic my entire career in the labor movement of people who lay back and don't do enough, or people who are, making too much in terms of officer salaries, or, cutting deals with bosses. I certainly believe that we need to do better, but I don't think this is in any way something to celebrate. This is just further tilting the playing field in favor of corporations, taking rights away from working people. And I disagree with Vinny. I mean, yeah, of course, the NRA, you can join it or not join it, but your boss isn't telling you in no uncertain terms that, he'd prefer that you not, and your job might be in jeopardy if you do, which is what's happening every day around the country.
How do you know that that's what's going to go on here? I mean, unions are already well established. I mean, in many ways,
it's a multi-billion-dollar
they have
industry,
more of a chance to prove themselves
this.
because they're already working in the shops. I mean, they're already proving their worth. So maybe, according to what you're saying, they might not have a problem as a result of this legislation. Maybe union membership will not drop if they're so valuable.
Well, I think that they're incredibly valuable. I think that it's an unlevel playing field.
Let Mark answer, and then we'll go back to you, Vinny. Hang on one second.
I think that they're, if it were a level playing field, if we weren't in an environment of like a one-sided class war against workers, I absolutely agree with you. People would join and they would pay, and it wouldn't be a problem. But we're in an undeclared class war here. It's now become official. It's been declared now by the politicians and who serve the billionaires and the bankers' agenda, and that's kind of what we're seeing here.
Mark, Vinny, go ahead and respond.
Okay, well, let's just talk about what right to work is one more time. Right to work simply gives workers the freedom to choose. It doesn't affect collective bargaining in any other way except for taking away the union's ability to get a worker fired for not paying them. Unions in right to work states can still collectively bargain for wages, hours, working conditions, and benefits. So it doesn't affect collective bargaining except for the union's ability to get those workers fired. That's all.
Gentlemen, thanks to both of you for bringing both sides into the debate. We appreciate your time. We've got